I've got a very big word on the screen, and it's probably one of the most important things that you ever learn with all of this. All right, getting your first client is easy. Going to LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all the groups, all the platforms, and you'll eventually get your first client no matter what. Right? But what happens after you get that first client? What happens, when you're already facing a difficult situation that you haven't like encountered yet? That's why you gotta have mindset. Because the worst case, you do get that client, but you might not get paid. So I also just wanna like set expectations for some of you, especially those of you who are just starting out. You might go into this telling this is gonna change everything, this is gonna make me rich. And it might. All right. If you do everything right, you're gonna get clients. You're you're gonna go into a field wherein it's pretty much new. No one knows what we're doing. And that is where the money lies. Like, since a lot of people don't know this, you can charge a lot of money. But again, you do need mindset. And I've got a couple of points here that I want to go through. First one, so this whole thing is not going to be easy, but it's not rocket science. I want to set your expectation that, when you do go and start implementing all of this, when you do start creating your first automation project, there are going to be a lot of challenges. There are going to be a lot of problems that you are going to be stressed the hell out. All right. But if you really look into it, it's not too complex. What's complex is studying studying all the periodic table elements, studying, how the law works. There's a bunch more complicated stuff than connecting Google Sheets to Google Drive to Gmail and all of that. So it's not going to be easy, but it's not that complex. So if you ever encounter like a problem or a difficulty, I go to Google, go to ChatGPT, go to the community. You've got a bunch of resources at your disposal. So yeah, I mean, the reason why I put this bullet is because I don't want you guys giving up on the first difficulty that you are gonna face. You might think that I've got everything on these videos. I don't. Like these platforms are constantly changing, constantly producing updates, and I might not have the most updated videos, and I might not be able to like cover everything that you need for that specific video. So if you bear with me, and if you really like want to learn, you gotta go through it alone sometimes. So yeah, but of course, share it with the group if you ever like encounter a bug or a problem. They will help you. But yeah, number one, it's not gonna be easy, but it's not rocket science. Let's now move to the second point, which is you have to be accountable. Right? So when I was starting out, I had this client wherein like I was starting out with GHL. I didn't know the tool. I don't know like what you're supposed to do with it. I just went in, experimented with stuff, and then there was one time wherein I accidentally imported contacts, like people, to the platform, and then it triggered an automation that will send SMS to all of them. Like that was a big, big, you know, wrong on my part. And I was scared to death because, I didn't want to tell my client that I was the one responsible for that. But I want to put this here. You have to be accountable, right? Whatever happens, your client's going to know or might get away with it. But it's easier to just be truthful. It's just easier to be accountable. So when you are consulting, when you are developing these projects, know that since you are the expert that you claim to be, since you are the consultant that you claim to be, you got to be accountable if something happens. All right. If you make a mistake, you probably will, and I can assure you, there's a bunch of mistakes that you're gonna make. So you just have to be accountable for your actions, and that will like move you forward more than you'll ever know. Right. So second point is you have to be accountable for your mistakes, for your actions, and if there's something that you don't know and you still made a mistake, then don't sweat it. It's gonna happen either way. So just treat that as a learning experience instead of like beating yourself. That, you know, just don't lose your client money. That's all. You might lose your client money, but just don't lose too much. You can lose a couple of pennies, couple of dollars, but don't lose thousand, 100,000, because that's like a big deal. But yeah, the key thing here, be accountable. Third point is you gotta be the expert and you can't act like you're still a VA. So some of you might be coming from a VA experience or VA background or freelancer, and you think that everything is gonna be handed to you like on a silver platter. No, it won't. If you are gonna be the expert, if you're gonna be a consultant, if you're gonna be an agency owner, you gotta act like you are the expert. You gotta act like you know what you're saying. You gotta act like you know everything. But it's okay to not know everything. What I just mean is you have to like show the client that you are confident with what you're building. You don't have to lie. You don't have to make stuff up. Just be confident. All right. You can't act like you're still waiting for orders. That's a VA. You can't act like, you know, you're still waiting for someone else in the team. You gotta be proactive. You gotta make your own, processes. You gotta find solutions to problems. You gotta find the leakages. You gotta find things that can be improved, things that are not doing well, things that can be automated, right? If you really wanna make it and not just be a VA, you gotta be the expert. All right. So like this, I think is like one of the most uh not noticed, not realized by a lot of you. You think that, just telling them that you are a consultant, you're an agency owner, automations is gonna solve everything. No, it won't. You gotta be the part that you are playing. So yep, be the expert and can't act like you're still a VA. And last, automation will not be everything. So this is like what I have discovered. And like a lot of you are also kind of missing on. Some of you will probably go and enroll in another course to build landing pages because that other course creator is focusing on that, like skill, and that's completely fine. And you enrolled here, you learned automation, and that's because I want to like focus on automation. But when you get to talk with businesses, automation is not the end all be all. Automation is not the only thing that a business needs. Automation will not solve all the problems. When you are a consultant, an agency, you gotta ask the right questions to the business owner. How much leads are we getting? What's your sales pipeline? How many, when they get to this landing page, or do you even have a landing page? Right? So you gotta ask those questions in order to like know if automation is the solution to their problem. Because the thing here is like you might be suggesting automation when they might need something else. Like they might be having a problem with lead generation. And then you're gonna offer automation when they don't even have any leads. So what I mean here is if you really wanna make it in the space, you can't just brand yourself as, this landing page expert, this lead generation expert, this automation consultant. Eventually, you'll have to be an all-rounder. You'll have to know all the parts of the business. You need to know how businesses work, basically. And that's why, like, consultants, agency owners, the owners are not just focused on landing pages, building landing pages. Even though, like, it's a really good skill to be an expert in, but, like, you'll notice this when you're going to talk to them. So, automation will not be everything. Building landing pages won't be everything. FB ads won't be everything. You can be a bit of everything. And the key, the most important part here is just to solve problems with the right tools, with the right solution. So yeah, I've experienced this in the past wherein like we've built like very cool stuff. But in the end, the owner just went with GHL. The owner just, set simple automations. They didn't even like incorporate AI into it. So you gotta put your mind in that place. You have to be platform agnostic, meaning you can't be just stick with Make. You can't be just stick with NRN and specific platforms. You gotta know what the pain point is. You gotta know what the problem is and find the right solution for it instead of bringing the solution first before even knowing the problem. But the good thing here is that automation is like a good entry place, even for beginners, because not a lot of people know this. And if you're able to learn this quickly, fast, and you will be able to like get ahead from everybody else. You'll be able to get your foot in the door with these businesses, even though you don't know anything about landing pages, anything about email marketing, leads. If you're just able to get in the door with automation and learn those business stuff on the back end, like you'll be set. And I mean that. Like whatever business you're in, whatever company you're in, whatever like project you will be in, if you just have this mindset, you will be good and you will get, you know, money basically. So that's the four things that I want to emphasize with mindset. So, yep, I hope this helped and see you in the next video.